Plagiarism is the idea that you are lifting something from somebody else without giving credit to them. Sometimes it's in the form of an overt, I am literally copying and pasting what somebody else wrote and just putting it in here without citing it. Other times it might be I'm paraphrasing these ideas and I'm putting it into my own words, but I'm not necessarily pointing back to the original source to say, hey, here's where I got this idea from. It appears as though ChatGPT is not directly lifting from other sources by literally just copying and pasting ideas from one source and putting it into another without actually citing it. Instead, what it is likely doing is paraphrasing from other forms of text, a lot of different forms of text, and kind of synthesizing and summarizing and putting it into something new. Where this becomes a problem is it's obviously not pointing back to where it got this from. So instead of embedding like in-text citations or things like that into it, it might be making it as though the person who submits this is coming up with this on their own. These are our original ideas. But this leads to a question of, is this a form of plagiarism or just kind of like the new version of getting someone else to write the essay for you? Let's say that the next version of ChatGPT, like 5 or even 6 or whatever, is able to add in references and citations. Is that actually a form of plagiarism? Or is it an entirely different question that's more related to what people have previously done, where they will literally pay someone to write an essay for them? Having taught at higher education institutions, I know that there are several professors that I've worked with who have talked about how they would sometimes have students like submit in just like terrible work. They get to the final end and it's like, holy cow, like this could be submitted for publication immediately. It is phenomenal. And because they had a long history of just really bad work and then suddenly it was amazing, it was like, okay, clearly you hired somebody to write this, because when they asked the student to come in and explain, like, what did you mean here by this particular very dense paragraph, the student's not able to actually articulate it. Okay, clearly you don't understand what you even wrote or claim to have written, so odds are you paid somebody else to do that. So let's talk about academic integrity and how that might impact whether or not you actually finish this degree. This might be a new form of that, in that students, like if they are able to add in citations into the generated text, now it's no longer a form of plagiarism, but it's still a form of academic dishonesty and a lack of integrity. So it's something that we as educators really need to kind of think through and prepare for. This excerpt was from podcast 187 of the CSK8 podcast, and it is titled, Will ChatGPT Get You Caught? Rethinking a Plagiarism-Detection. And you can find this episode on any major podcast platform, on YouTube, or going to jaredoleary.com.